This is the Coleman 6-person instant camping tent, and my honest reaction after using it is pretty simple. It is fast to set up, easy to live in when the weather is dry, and not the tent I would trust for a long rainy trip. I bought this tent for car camping with my family. I wanted something I could set up quickly after a drive, especially when I got to camp late and did not want to fight with loose poles and fading light. That is where this tent makes the most sense. The setup is the main reason I still use it. The poles are already attached to the tent body, so I unfold it, extend the legs, lock everything into place, and stake it down. On dry ground, I can get it standing in about a minute. If I am moving slowly or the ground is uneven, it still does not take long. That part feels very real in actual camping. I have set it up after a long drive when everyone was tired. I've also set it up in light rain when I just wanted shelter fast. Not having to sort poles or read instructions makes a big difference when I am tired or when the weather is starting to turn. Taking it down is also easy. I pull the stakes, collapse the frame, fold it back down, and roll it into the bag. The carry bag has extra room built into it, so I do not have to fight it for 20 minutes just to get the tent packed away. I really appreciate that at the end of a trip. The size is good for car camping. The floor is about 10 feet by 9 feet, and the center height is around 6 feet. I can stand up inside and change clothes without bending over the whole time. That alone makes it feel much more comfortable than a low dome tent. The walls are fairly straight, so the inside space feels usable. It has a cabin shape, not a small rounded shape. I can put a queen air mattress inside and still have room around the edges for bags, shoes, and small gear. Coleman says this is for 6 people, but I would not want 6 adults sleeping in here unless everyone packed very light and did not care about personal space. 2 queen air mattresses can fit, but once they are in there, the floor is almost completely full. For my use, it feels better with 1 queen mattress and gear, or with 4 people who want some room to move. The tent feels more like a dry weekend shelter than a rough weather shelter. The frame is steel, and it feels sturdy when everything is fully staked out. The fabric feels thick enough for normal car camping, but this is not something I would drag into rocky backcountry spots or carry far from the car. Packed up, it is long and fairly heavy. I would not want to carry it very far. This is the kind of tent I load into the trunk, pull out at a campsite, and set up close to the car. For that kind of use, the size and weight are manageable. Inside, the storage is pretty basic. There are small pockets, but not many. I wish there were more places to put phones, flashlights, glasses, and small items. There is no covered outside area by the door, so muddy shoes either sit outside in the open or come inside on a mat or towel. That matters more when the weather is wet. In dry weather, I do not think about it much. When it rains, I really notice the lack of a covered entry space. Wet shoes and wet jackets need somewhere to go, and this tent does not give much help there. The door is large and easy to use most of the time, but the zipper needs a gentle hand. If the tent fabric is under tension, and I pull too hard, the zipper can snag. I have learned to slow down and use one hand to guide the fabric when closing it. Ventilation is one of the better parts of this tent in warm weather. The windows are large, and the roof vents help move air. On a warm, dry day, it feels open and comfortable inside. It is a nice place to hang out, change clothes, or let kids rest out of the sun. When the weather cools down, condensation can become a problem. This is a single wall tent, so the inside wall is also the outside wall. When I close the windows at night and breathe inside the tent for hours, moisture can build up on the fabric. I have woken up with damp walls even when it did not rain. Opening the windows helps, but that becomes tricky during rain. If the rain is coming straight down, it is easier to manage. If wind pushes rain sideways, I have to close more of the tent, and then the inside gets clammy. That is just part of using this style of tent. Rain protection is the part I would pay the most attention to. This tent does not come with a full separate rain cover over the whole body. It has a smaller built-in roof cover over the top area. That helps with ventilation and light rain, but it does not protect the walls the way a full rainfly would. I have used it in light and moderate rain. It handled some light rain well enough, but once the rain lasted longer or came with wind, water found its way in. I saw damp spots on the walls. I saw moisture near the door zipper. I also had small puddles near the edge of the floor after steady rain. The floor uses a bathtub-style material, but on my tent, the side rise does not feel high enough to make me relax in wet weather. The lower seam area is something I watch closely now. If water collects around the outside of the tent, I do not feel great about it. I started using a ground tarp under it, and that helped protect the floor from rocks and dirt. I also try to choose a campsite with good drainage. I avoid low spots where water can pool. This tent does better when I help it out with site choice and extra care. I also tried the separate full rainfly that can be bought for this model. It did help. Rain had a harder time hitting the walls directly, especially when it was falling straight down. But it did not turn the tent into a fully covered double wall shelter. During windy rain, I still noticed damp areas around smaller side windows and a general wet feeling inside. That does not mean the tent is useless in rain. It means I would not choose it for a trip where rain is likely for many hours. If I saw storms in the forecast, I would either bring extra protection or take a different tent. Wind was better than I expected, as long as I staked everything properly. This tent is tall and boxy, so I thought it might move around a lot. When I used all the stakes and tied out the guy lines, it held its shape better than I expected during a gusty night. If I skip the guy lines, the tent moves more. I would not recommend doing that. The quick setup can make it tempting to just stake the corners and call it done, but the extra lines matter. They pull the walls tight and help the frame stay steady. After using it for a while, I think the best use is dry weather car camping. It works well for weekend trips, backyard camping, family campouts, and quick overnight stays. It is especially nice when I want to get camp set up fast and not think too much about the tent. I would not call it a strong choice for wet coastal trips, cold shoulder season camping, or places where rain can last all day. I would also not use it for camping far from the car because of the pack's size and weight. If I bought it again, I would also buy a ground tarp, seam sealer, and the separate rainfly. I would not expect those things to fix every issue, but they can help. I would also test it in the yard before taking it on a longer trip, just to make sure the zippers, seams, and setup all feel right. One thing I still like is how low stress it feels. When I get to camp, I can have shelter up fast. When I pack up, I can get it back into the bag without a fight. That sounds simple, but after a weekend outside, simple matters. One thing I do not like is that the weather protection does not match the roomy size. The inside gives the feeling of a comfortable family tent, but the rain setup needs more backup than I would prefer. I have learned not to push it too far, so my take is this. The Coleman 6-person instant camping tent is a good fit if I am camping mostly in dry weather, and I care most about fast setup and standing room. It is roomy, simple to pitch, and easy to pack away. It is not the tent I would rely on when the forecast shows steady rain or strong storms. I still use mine, but I use it for the right trips. Dry weekends, quick family camping, and backyard sleepovers make sense. Wet trips are where I reach for something else. If this video helped, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with your own experience or any questions about this tent. Thank you for watching.